Hey you guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Katie and I'm so glad you're here. Today's video, I'm going to be going through all the questions I've been asked about my breast augmentation surgery. That was 4 weeks ago almost now, and so on my Instagram I put a question box up and you guys just let all the questions out. So I want to answer them for you. I made a notes in my phone, that way I can just kind of go down the list. But as I said, I am post-op week 4. When this releases tomorrow, it'll be week 4. So things are going really well. So let's dive on in, because the people who ask these questions probably have thoughts of getting a breast augmentation themselves, or they're curious. And so I want to answer these all as honest as possible, and just to give you guys like a real insight of like how my surgery has been and how recovery has been, and just all the questions in between. So question number 1 was, what kind of implant did I get? I got a Sientra smooth implant, round. And then to answer another question, it was 505 cc's. So that is the type of implant that I got. I think he went with this because, I don't know, I think he just thought that it'd work out, and it did, because there's other shapes of implants, like where it's like a teardrop shape, but he decided to go with the round, and I think they look amazing how he did them. So Sientra smooth silicone also implant. Next question is, do you have to get them redone? So a lot of people might not know this, but when you get breast implants, like, you don't just have them for the rest of your life, like from that same implant. They recommend you get them redone, I believe, like every 10 to 15, or it's either 10 to 15 years or I think it's 5 to 10 years actually. I honestly didn't really know that going into it until I learned more about it, but I'm okay with doing that, because, you know, getting a fresh implant instead of just waiting for, or having one in there your whole entire life, that does not seem safe. What size did I choose? So I said that I chose the 505 cc, and what actually happened was, this answers like another question down here, is people asked about how did you decide what size you wanted to be. I'll just go to that question. How did you determine the size that you wanted? So when I went to my pre-op appointment, I had on a bunch of sizers, and I had an idea of what I wanted, and so we started, you know, I was like, I want to be a D, and so just kind of looking at what I had at the moment, the nurse gave me some sizers to try on, and so we kind of narrowed it down within a range. And then after speaking with the doctor, he had this range in his mind of, you know, either 485 cc's or 505 cc's, and that was like the range he was going to work with. What I think is really cool, and also important to have like a doctor you can like trust to make the right decision, was when I was actually in surgery, that's when he like makes his game time decision of what looks best. Like, he'll pop one in there, and if it's not what he wants, like what it looks best, then he'll go with the other. So he went in with a 505 cc implant, and it all worked out so well. The next question is, where are my incisions at, and do I have scarring? This was actually something I was kind of nervous about, because I didn't want noticeable scars, and I knew that scarring obviously has to take place because of you're cutting the skin open, and so it kind of comes down to how well you take care of the scarring as well to diminish it. And obviously there's people out there who, you know, scar differently, where it's like called keloid scarring, where it like bubbles up, versus just like a clean scar that goes away over time. But my scars are right under, they're like right, you can't even see them, but they're right under my boob, and honestly they've been healing so well. Like, I can't even see, well, I mean, I can see them, but it's extremely minimal for it only being 4 weeks, so that has me really excited. Things too that I am doing and that I'm going to do to help get these scars like completely away is I've been like putting, I've been keeping them moisturized with Aquaphor, and I've been putting, I have like scar oil, and also if I have to get to the point, I do have like scar tape that I bought, which you like place a strip of tape right on the scar site, and it's supposed to be able to completely knock away those scarring. But honestly, it's really well, so hopefully I don't even have to use that. But yes, you do expect scarring, but if you really take care of the scars, because that was the one thing I didn't want to have bad scars, so I bought all the stuff on Amazon beforehand that I'm gonna need. That way I can keep that from happening. So yes, you scar, but there's ways to minimize or completely diminish scarring. How was surgery? What's all involved with recovery? So the day of surgery actually went really well. Kind of. I had to show up really early at like 6:45 in the morning was when I needed to show up. The nurse took me back. She, we did all the consent paperwork and all those things. She started an IV on my arm, and it's really funny because I'm a nurse and I literally passed out from her starting an IV in my arm. It's so embarrassing. She started the IV to like hook up some fluids for like pre-hydration, and then she stepped out, and I was just waiting for the anesthesiologist to come in and talk with me, and just all of a sudden like everything was going black, and I was like, Mom, go get the nurse. And then I just like was so like sweaty and pale, and anyway, so that was the great start to the morning. Was me passing out after just an IV in my arm, so that was so great. But other than that, after all the consents and the surgeon came in and saw me, all that was taken care of, they walked me back to the operating room. And honestly, it went so fast, like after that point, because it was like, okay, sit down, lay back, you're gonna breathe into this mask, and that was it. And then I woke up and I had boobs and I was ready to go. The anesthesiologist was just like, where do you want to travel to, and this and that. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna go to Cabo, that'd be so cool, like let it out. It was so crazy. So it's so good surgery wise. And then I woke up from surgery. They're pretty much like, they watch you for like maybe 30 minutes, I don't even know how long it was, and then my mom was out back, and the nurse walked me to the car and we were off. I was so nauseous. I remember just like the drive back to my apartment, I was so nauseous, so I had like a little nausea bag, thank God, but nothing happened. But honestly, the day of surgery, like that portion of it went really smooth, like so fast. I think I was out of there, like I think they started surgery at like 7:30, and I was literally out by like almost 9. I was going home, I think, so can't complain at all. What's all involved in recovery? So honestly, recovery hasn't been anything hard or crazy or anything like that. So pretty much for 6 weeks, you cannot do any kind of upper body exercises at all, none whatsoever. And then for me, the increments is like for the first like week 1 and week 2, pretty much week 1, I don't recommend doing anything, not even walks, like just don't do anything the first week. And then I started finally walking like in week 2. I made a really bad mistake of going on a walk when I was only like a couple days post-op. I don't know what I was thinking, but like just don't do it. It's not worth it. Like you don't want to get your heart rate up or anything, and you just won't feel good. So just don't do it. But I started doing like really slow walks on week 2, and just from there so all of week 2 I was walking, and then week 3, which was this last week, I finally got cleared to start doing lower body exercises, body weight only, and then I can start doing like lower steady state cardio, no jumping or running or anything like that, but things like incline walking or a Stairmaster. But I haven't done the I might do a Stairmaster today, but if you do a Stairmaster, you're not supposed to hold on to the bars, because then that obviously activates, your pectoral muscles, that's what you're not trying to do. So I've just been doing lower body weight exercises, and then incline walking for week 3, and I'll do that for week 4, and then week 5, and then week 6 I'll be completely cleared to go back to business as usual with my routine. Obviously, because I have bigger implants and I just want them to, you know, heal really well, I probably am only gonna stick to doing like super lightweight upper arms, because I'm not big into like wanting to grow my arms really big and strong anyway. So I'm gonna probably just do a little bit for my upper body because I do want these to heal really well. But 6 weeks is your full length to being healed. Okay. How expensive was it? So mine in total, like with, I tacked on like an insurance coverage for the first year to protect things like, what's called capsular constricture and just anything that could go wrong. I think it came out to being $7,400, which in my opinion is really reasonable, especially in the area. I am in the Phoenix area. And another question on here was, who did I go to? I went to Dr. Josh Olson. He's in Gilbert, Arizona, which is like 25 minutes away from where I am. But honestly, really reasonable. I know other places around the area are, I think anywhere from like 7 to 10 is really reasonable. And you want to go to someone who you can trust and whose work is like super credible, like, you know, a friend and hers look amazing, or just, you know, they have that really great credibility, which he did an amazing job. So, and he did one of my other friends and then a couple of her friends too, so he was credible and I knew I could trust his work. Okay, how much pain were you in? Honestly, pain-wise, what I could recommend is like staying on top of your pain medicines, especially like for the first 3 days. And that's what helps so much. Is I did have pain. It feels like an elephant is just sitting on your chest. Like your chest is super tight, your skin is stretching because, you know, you put this, you know, thing in your body that's stretching out your skin, and so everything's just like really tight. It's inflamed. Oh my gosh, I was so swollen. Like, ugh, it was so swollen. To be expected. I just had major surgery. But like pain level wise, I think I was like, it was like maybe like the worst was a 7, like the worst, and then I think most of the time I was like a 5 or a 6. And so during that time I just stayed on top of my medicine for pain, and I think it was hydrocodone that I was prescribed. But I was doing that for the first couple, like 2 days, and then I was like, oh, I should try to get off my pain medicine. Don't try to fight it if you're not ready. That's a big thing, because I tried to cut back and like start adding like ibuprofen in, and it just wasn't staying on top of the pain like it was. So biggest advice is to just take it if you need it, and don't worry about being constipated or this and that. Like, get all the meds that you need for all that, and you know, take the medicine, because you don't want to put your body through, you know, more stress being in pain than trying to cut off and just being miserable. And another question was, how long was I on my pain medicines for? So I would say I was able to completely be off of like the hydrocodone by like day 6, and I think like on day 5 and 6 I was just taking like one of the doses per day instead of like every 4 hours. And then also I was prescribed a muscle relaxer, and I took that every single day. I took that pretty much every 8 hours because my pecs were like spasming like crazy, and that caused like tension and pain. So I took that for probably about 7 days. But yeah, I was only on the pain meds for 6 days. Like the first 3, like 2 days for sure, I was taking it every 4 hours, like maximum dose every 4 hours. Day 3, I cut back a little bit. Day 4, I was, you know, and then I slowly cut off, but I used the pain medicines when I needed them, and that's so, so important. But also on that, make sure you have a laxative or something that you're also taking every day. Holy crap, like I was so bloated from surgery. I felt like I was like a puffed up whale. Like, anyway, so just moral of the story, take your pain meds if you do get surgery. Just take them, don't be scared of, you know, getting constipated or whatever, because there's medicines for that. And you would rather want to be comfortable and like your pain at a minimal than stressing your body out even more. So next question is, what cup size did you start at before to what I am now? Before surgery, I was flat as a board. I was a 34A, and I knew that I wanted to be a size D. I have friends who are, you know, we're about the same like structure, like size wise, and they got Ds. They looked amazing. And so I knew that was kind of the area that I wanted to be in. So to bounce back on my pre-op appointment for choosing sizes, because I think a lot of us get confused a lot of the time of like, oh, like if she got 505 cc's and she's a D, like I want 505 cc's. It doesn't work like that. So kind of to break it down is like, to choose the right size, like know what size you want to be. So if you want to be like a size D, which that was me, I was a 34A to begin with, and kind of like the rule of thumb, like for implant sizing wise, because it doesn't go by that, it goes by cc's, is about, I think it's like every 175 to 200 cc's is about a 1 cup size increase. So I went with 505, so that pretty much, I think it puts me at like pretty much a D for sure, because I was a 34A and then 505, so that's 1, 2, and some. So that's kind of the rule of thumb to go by when picking sizes. But yeah, I'm a D now, and I was a 34A then, so a lot of stretching, and yeah, we had nothing to begin with, guys. Okay. How did you determine the size that you wanted? I kind of just talked over that, but essentially just knowing kind of what you want to begin with, like cup wise, and then like they'll help you size them out. And honestly, trying on the sizers was really helpful, because like we started off with like, because I was like, I want to be a D, and so she was like, okay, let's try the 450s, and I tried them. I was like, oh, okay, whatever. I'm like, let's do a little more, and so she went with the 475. Like she was like, okay, let's try 475, and that was good and whatever. And I was like, okay, maybe let's just see, you know. And we tried the 550s, and then immediately it was a no. Like there are these like little inserts, and we put the 550s in there, and I was like, absolutely not. These are way too big, no way. And then we tried the 500. So that was how I had my range of like, okay, 475 to 50, 500 some. So that's kind of how I determined the size. And if you pick a really good surgeon, the nurses are so great. Like the surgeon's great. Like they'll help you get the right size that you're going for. So your surgeon is key. Any recovery tips? Yes. So recovery tips, I talked about one for many times, is just stay on your pain medicine. Don't try to be a superhero and cut yourself off if you're truly in pain. Like take the pain meds if you need them. Other recovery tip is, especially if you're someone who loves fitness, who loves working out like I do, it's been so hard to just like relax and not do anything, but just don't do anything the first week. Don't do anything. You just lay in bed and you get up a couple times a day. Just be, okay? Just recover. Because I tried doing, like, go walk to the coffee shop if it's right down the block and grab a coffee. Like, that was like the most walking that I did. But I think it was like day 3, my mom and I walked around the block, and I was like, I probably shouldn't be doing this. Like I probably need to be like laying down and sleeping and recovering. So that's a tip. Also have everything on deck that you might need, like oils, lotions. I have been putting like I haven't linked in my Amazon storefront. I have a video that I made about all the things I bought. I can't think of what the oil is called. I think it's like a vitamin E oil. And I've been putting that on every single day. I've been putting on this like vitamin E cream every single day because I know that my skin's going to stretch because you put a really big thing in a really small place and your skin has to stretch around that. And so I don't want stretch marks to form. So I've been doing that like twice a day. Other things too is like following the massage like tips that your surgeon's nurse is going to recommend to you. There's certain things that you need to do every single day. I started doing that a week 2 is when she started saying like, okay, now we're going to start doing like these exercises and this and that, because that'll help the boobs drop eventually. Oh, and also a recovery tip, have someone, like if you can have someone available for at least like the first 3 to 4 days, solid. They recommend for sure having one person. You have to have, well, not recommend, you have to have one person with you for all of day 1 because obviously you just had major surgery and this and that. So, but my mom, she was so nice in that she came down and she stayed with me for the whole entire week. And when I say that that was like such a blessing, like such a blessing, because even on like day 2, like just to reach and grab something, like there's been no way. Or like we made pizzas one night and the ranch needed shaking up. I couldn't do it. I did. I like, and it hurt. I was like, Mom, I need you to do this. So if you can have someone available to be by your side at least for the first few days until you start to kind of come around a little bit, that is so clutch for recovery, for real. What am I looking forward to the most post-surgery is I'm really just, I don't know, I'm week 4 now, so I'm pretty much almost to the whole recovery point, but I couldn't be like more happier than how things are looking, how it's turned out, how I'm feeling. I'm obviously very excited to be fully back in the gym, actually, that with weights and lifting heavy again, like, you know, and actually just working out like I like to. But so I'm looking forward to that. It's not that I'm looking forward to this because I can already like kind of do these things, but like wearing like really cute tops without having to like have a bra on with them. Like when I was a 34A, like life was so small, and like there's so many tops that I couldn't wear because of like how my boobs were shaped, what it looked like. It just wasn't cute. So I'm just really excited to just like wear the things that I want to wear and like know it's gonna look really good, like aesthetically. I think that's what I'm looking forward to the most. I also can't wait till these like drop a little bit, but I know that takes time because I had nothing to begin with, so it's gonna take time for like skin to stretch and all that so the implant can drop more. But honestly, they look really good right now, so can't wait for them to be fully healed and everything. Okay, the last question, and I saved this for the last question because I'll probably talk on it the most, is this girl asked me, are you worried about breast implant illness? And this is something I had to highly consider like throughout this whole process of it, like, do I want to get breast implants or not? Because I do know that people have had issues with breast implants. I've seen YouTube videos, just all the things. And obviously that's really scary. You know, hearing about people's stories gone wrong and how their bodies just is not accepting the implants. But really what it came down to was I'm not gonna know unless I get, like, I can stay fearful of it and never do it out of fear, or I could do it and actually find out myself. Because for me, so many of my friends have their boobs done and they have no issues whatsoever. So if like they didn't have any issues, why should I have any issues? That's kind of how I like thought about it. And so for me, I would much rather take the risk, see how my body's going to respond, and just like pray that I don't get breast implant illness. And then most of my friends are fine, which really gave me encouragement of like, okay, I'm going to be fine too. And then I just dove into studies. They have certain studies out there of like certain types of breast implant illness, or some different types of implants they did studies that are more prone to women getting breast implant illness. So that was also why I was really happy with going with the implant that the surgeon was recommending, because it was smooth and round, and it was a good implant to go with, shape-wise and texture and all these things. So I did a lot of digging and reading through some articles on it, but overall it was just a personal choice. And again, like I said, I would much rather, go through with something that I really, really wanted for my body and myself than to not do it simply because I was afraid of the what if, like that was my reasoning. And I was like, I don't want to just like wonder all my life if I could have had breast implants or if I would have gotten breast implant illness. So I was like, you know what, we're just gonna do it and we'll see what happens. And I feel perfectly normal and like myself. I don't feel like anything's off. I feel like these boobs are like supposed to be a part of me, and it feels really good. So praying and fingers crossed that no complications ever come up, but that is something that I was aware about, going to. But I have so many friends who also have their boobs done and they have had zero symptoms, zero issues, and there's thousands of other women out there who don't have issues as well. So the odds of getting breast implant illness are very low, considering how many people do get their boobs done every single year. So I hope all of these questions, I think I answered every single one of them. Yes, I did. Oh, rewind. Also with recovery, you have to wear a bra for like 6 weeks, and honestly I'll probably just keep wearing them, but I just got these bras off of Amazon and they're really comfy bras. So you have to wear a bra for 6 weeks, like literally a bra at nighttime all the time. That's kind of like getting a little old, but I'm getting used to it. So anyway, that was another recovery tip, is just getting all the stuff you need. But yeah, I hope that this video answers a lot of your questions, because if you are watching this, you probably have some curiosity about breast implants or getting them yourself or whatever the case may be. So I hope this answered a ton of questions. If this is the first video that you are watching of mine in regards to my breast implant journey, I have made 2 other videos recently. I made a recovery, like Amazon, what I bought from Amazon list video for all the things I bought for recovery, which I've used every single one of them so heavily. So if you're getting them done, literally go to that video, go to my Amazon storefront in there and just click away, because you're gonna want everything that I had. And then I did make a 1-week vlog of actually me recovering from surgery. So for that first whole week, you kind of get an insight of how things went, how I was feeling like in the moment versus me like just telling you right now. So check those out if you have not seen them yet. But again, yeah, I hope this video helps you, with whatever you're thinking about, whatever right now, or just getting these questions answered, because I always, like when I was coming up to the decision of, am I gonna get implants, am I not, like I was watching YouTube videos and just hearing people's experiences. So I hope this can help somebody. So anyway, that is all I have for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Mwah.